This Bank of America ROVAL 400 DFS Picks edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Underdog is hooking up new customers. Play just $5 and get $100 in bonus funds when you sign up with our promo code RACE, SGPN.
Driver, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'm just gonna put my foot on the floor and I'm not lifting till I see God or a checkered flag.
My man.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
We want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa. In Jesus' name, boogity, boogity, boogity.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
We interrupt your regularly scheduled episode of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network to bring you an entirely different episode of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. He's Cody Zeeb. I'm Rod Villagomez. I say that because we fully anticipated on doing an Xfinity and Truck episode tonight. Actually, we fully intended to do it this afternoon, and then the books were a little slow, and then we decided to shift gears, and we'll wait, right? We waited. Nothing happened. And then so finally, Cody and I just said, you know what? We're going to shift gears to DFS tonight. We'll hope that the odds are coming back out tomorrow with some pretty – I mean, look, Cody, we got outrights. We got some matchups. We got some manufacturers, a top three. But you know we live in this top five world that we need top fives, and we can't do without them.
Yeah, we'll let them have their victory for today, Rod. Corporate gambling trying to keep us down. That's fine. They think they won. They could have today. We'll get them tomorrow. Not too worried about it. There's going to be a quick turnaround. The Truck Series race is 12:30 Pacific time on Friday. So, yeah, you're going to have to make sure you schedule time tomorrow to get those truck picks in. But, hey, we'll get it done. We'll talk trucks and Xfinity tomorrow. I'm pretty excited to talk about both series. I think that we're going to have some pretty good racing. First time the trucks have been on the ROVAL. That's going to be interesting, I guess, to say the least. So, but, yeah. You know, is what it is. They can have it today. We'll talk some DFS, some NASCAR fantasy here, and back tomorrow with the picks.
Indeed, yeah. And it is going to be exciting, too, because of the fact that the trucks have not been on this. Obviously, Xfinity is a regular. But when you look at the amount of people that have won this race, Cody, it's like AJ Allmendinger has his name stamped on everything, and then it's everybody else, right? So you have to figure it out because there's not a lot of active drivers on this track. Obviously, we have our feelings on, and we'll talk about it tomorrow, but there's just going to be a lot of fun to try to watch this play out because it feels like it's all brand new in the Xfinity, well, obviously in the Truck Series, but it just still feels like it's brand new in the Xfinity too, and there's a lot to be decided, especially given who's in the field and who's in the field for the trucks. So, yeah, definitely a lot of fun to be had, and of course, the ROVAL is the cutoff race for the Cup Series playoffs. So we will lose some drivers in that series after it's all said and done. So, Cody, that makes not just the betting card a little difficult to handicap, as we talked about yesterday, but it kind of makes DFS a little tough too because, you know, you have to figure out who's going to split stages, who do you think is going to be going for and leading laps, right? And, obviously we kind of know who's going to be leading laps, but we're going to try to figure out what that means in the grand scheme of things and what that means in the finish.
Yeah, it's going to be really tricky this week, and we did talk about it quite a bit yesterday on the betting episode. There's any number of guys who could potentially stay out and you know, not flip the stages, take the stage points or the playoff point if they get the opportunity. And in the case of Ryan Blaney or Chase Elliott, who are already locked into the next round, they get that opportunity to take that playoff point. They probably should. And then you've got all these guys racing for points, which is just about everybody else, right? And a couple of guys, a Larson, a Bell, a Byron, they could potentially lock into the next round by staying out in the first stage, but then they don't have to stay out in the second stage unless they want to grab that extra playoff point. So, yeah, it's going to be very tricky this week. There's one guy that I think you just plug and play no matter what. We'll talk about him in a few because he's going to lead laps. He's not going to flip. And yeah, that's it's definitely interesting week DFS wise, because if you've got guys that are staying out for the stages, they're not going to lead a ton. So they're not going to score a ton of points in that area. And then they're likely not going to finish as good, which means they're not going to score a lot of fantasy points overall. Makes it tough.
Has the Roval, and again, maybe this is the fact that I'm nearing 50 and that it's nearing my bedtime already, but has the Roval already been a cutoff race? I don't think it's been a cutoff race since it's been introduced, yeah?
Yes, it was a cutoff race last year because Joey
Yeah.
Logano was eliminated, and then Alex Bowman did not make weight, and Joey Logano was reinstated after this race. So, yeah, it has, but this year feels more, and I guess I'd have to go back and look back at the situations, but this year feels, no, I think there's one stark difference this year, Rod, and that is not everybody has a chance to win. If SVG is not in this field, we're talking about how Kyle Larson can win. We're talking about how Christopher Bell can win. We're talking about how William Byron can win. But now we don't think that those guys can win. I mean, they can, but it's much less likely because SVG's in the field. And it changes the entire outlook of everything else, because I think if you're anybody, you have to plan that SVG is going to win. I think that you could still think you're capable of winning, and other people are going to have opportunities potentially. Things can go wrong, we know, but you kind of have to approach this race as if SVG is going to win. So since he's going to win, what do we have to do to make sure we get to the next round? And I think that changes the playing field massively over previous years where you didn't have, sure, it was AJ's been really good here. We're scared of him, but he was beatable, right? Is SVG beatable? I don't think he is.
At this point?
I don't think he is beatable right now. I mean, he's won, 4 or 5 in a row? Like, it's going to be tough to beat him. Obviously, things can happen, but I think that mindset, at least in my opinion, going into this is going to change. And then everything is going to depend on, where do you start? People are going to plan things out. Are you, in the top 10 and everybody in front of you pits? Now you have that opportunity to win the stage. If 6 people stay out in front of you, do you only want the 4 points you're going to get, or do you just go ahead and flip it there, try to get the next one? So I think there's just a lot more open this year than in the past, and I think SVG is a big reason for that.
Absolutely, and obviously we'll spend a lot of time talking about him, and you can listen to this episode and every episode of all of the shows that we've got across the Sports Gambling Podcast Network by downloading the SGPN app. It's in your app store right now. You get easy access and easy free, which is the more important thing, access to all of our picks and our podcasts. You can even find the number 10 of the guys in the against the spread, for tally site this week. That was me. Number 10 overall. But yeah. Nico.
We're number 10. We're number 10.
Hey, I'm top 10, man.
How it goes.
Right? We get excited when one of these stupid drivers become top 10 guys. Why can't you be excited for me?
There you go. Did you just call SVG stupid, Rod? Wow, I can't believe you do that right before we read Nico's comment. It's crazy. Nico, Rod wants to know. He says, we got the Cody car lift. What are we calling rods? The hot rod hoist, or his personal favorite, the hot rod rocket?
There it is.
Let's go, baby. The hot rod rocket. I like it. JDK says he's not sure what I'm wearing, but it looks like I'm trying to cut weight for a boxing match. This is actually a pretty sweet hoodie, Rod. It's a NASCAR hoodie. I'll stand up and show it off.
I'm going to do my best. It's a NASCAR 94, so I'm sure that's probably the year, right? It says National Association Star Car Auto Racing.
I just bought it like a year ago. It was like at Walmart or something. It's just like a knockoff, but it's a cool looking NASCAR themed hoodie, and I was like, that's pretty sweet looking. You can always use an extra hoodie, right? So, yeah, it's a NASCAR hoodie. But it looks like I'm trying to cut weight. I am trying to cut weight. I mean, I need to cut weight. I'd like to cut weight. I don't know that I'm trying, but I could use some weight cut,
I did think you had like a towel around your neck. When I first logged on, it looked like you had a towel around your neck. And I was like, boy, you just must have got done with the heavy workout.
I don't know. It's been unseasonably warm here, actually. My house is just fucking freezing, and I'm in the corner of the basement, and it's cold at nighttime, so I was like, I'm wearing a hoodie tonight. Whatever.
I know. Well, hey, listen, we finally got some fall weather here, too, so absolutely love it.
Yeah, we've had, it's been like 90s here. It's crazy. Usually it's getting cold this time of year, but we've had one more burst of summertime. The Experts Suck sports betting podcast checking in. Make sure you check those guys out. Have to find a way to offset SVG to be contrarian, or do you?
Do you?
SVG, his rostership's got to be over 60%. It's going to be high, and he's likely going to qualify in the poll, and that's just going to force everybody to have to play him. And we'll get it, I guess, more into the SVG commentary here in a minute.
We certainly will. So let's set up this race before we start giving you our favorite DFS plays for the day. It is the Bank of America ROVAL 400. We are set for 109 laps around this 2.320 mile road. Not quite an oval, not quite a road course. Yes, I'm pulling out my Britney Spears. I just didn't sing it this time for you guys, so you're welcome. Around this road course for 252.880 miles around the Charlotte Motor Speedway road course in Concord, North Carolina. Cody, the entry list reads like it does each and every week. No real surprises, but, again, like we said, there's some dominant names in the road course racing world.
Yeah, I guess most notably, Connor Zilich not in the Cup Series race. That would be kind of the one I guess you would maybe somewhat expect, but he's not going to be running this one. The only additional car on top of your traditional 36 week to week, Josh Bilicki in that Garage 66 entry. So, hey, maybe he'll be worth the punt play. I don't know if either of us are talking about him. I guess I haven't looked that far. We're not. So, but hey, he's always a guy that, he could make things work.
He certainly can make things work. But, so this ROVAL, obviously, it's just if you've never, ever, this is your first time listening to a ROVAL episode and maybe your first time watching the ROVAL, because I know we've got some new-ish fans, right, this season. They haven't necessarily paid attention, right? So this is a road course that got thrown in the middle of the Charlotte Motor Speedway in the oval. So between turns 12 and 15 is the actual oval part of the track, right? And then after that, you get a little chicane between 15 and 16. The start-finish line, you go almost immediately into a soft curve, and then, it's kind of like a lock, right? It's
formerly
a lock.
known as the Heartburn Turn, back when Tom sponsored it.
Oh, my God, yeah. So it looks like kind of a lock on its
We
side.
need more of those. We need more of those things like that. Like the Heartburn Turn was perfect. Like, come on, Tom, bring it back. But whatever. But yeah, this one is different from the traditional road course in the fact that it does use part of the oval surface. I mean, it's a small part, but it's a part of it nonetheless.
Yep. And then, so a lot of these guys, they'll dive bomb. They'll do a lot of crazy stuff going into it. So it is, like we said, it's just a hybrid between the two, and it most certainly provides some form of entertainment, and we're in for it this week. But when you talk about leading laps, right, there's not a lot of laps to lead. 109 laps is not a ton, so you're not going to be out there. So identifying the lap leader is going to be crucial because this guy is going to lead a ton of laps.
Identified. Next.
But you also do need to figure out how to find ways to, like the Experts Suck saying, differentiate and especially in a GPP play, because if the guy does crash out and you got 100% exposure, then you're 100% screwed. So you do need some differentiating.
Yes, the Experts Suck, by the way, is one of our newer to NASCAR listeners, and says first timer here. Looked up the course, looks like it was designed by a 5-year-old with his Hot Wheels track. Essentially, I think that's what Marcus Smith did. This was pre-COVID, wasn't it? Because 2018 was the first race, so it wasn't even a COVID thing, I guess, but it was just when they were bored trying out different things, and ovals were not cutting it at the time, and there used to be 2 Charlotte races, and so they cut it back to 1, and they had this ROVAL. It was great the first couple of years. At this point, we should be back at the oval. That's another story for another day. I mean, look at the Kansas race last week. Tell me we don't need more of these, and we're getting Chicagoland back next year and some other stuff. It's fine, but it's an interesting concept. It's produced some really great racing. I mean, the very first one, Truex and Jimmy Johnson going at it at the end there, and they wreck each other, and Blaney sneaks through and gets the win. Chase Elliott goes into the Heartburn Turn, buries the car in the barrier, then comes all the way back to win. He had Cardboard Gate, of course, in the first year of the show. RIP to my massive fucking bet on Chase Elliott when he should have won that race. But yeah, it's been a fun track pretty overall until one guy stinks up the show this week, Rod. But just to set up the playoffs again, we talked about it yesterday, but just to reset it up for the fantasy crowd that's listening today, Chase Elliott's locked in. Ryan Blaney's locked in. I do still think they can flip stages because if that point is there, I mean, they're literally are racing for nothing. It's a bit sad, but there's nothing for them to race for. Elliott's won here before, could have won here multiple times if it wasn't for Cardboard Gate. But, is he going to beat SVG this week? Probably not, right? So if you get the opportunity to snag that point, I think they could and probably should. These four guys, Larson, 54 to the good, Hamlin, 48, Bell, 44, Byron, 40. I believe they are all, maybe not all, but most of them could lock up through the points in the first stage, depending on what they get, what other people don't get, so on and so forth. But they could definitely use stage flipping or not flipping the stages, I guess, to get the stage points. Chase Briscoe's 21 points to the good. Joey Logano's 13 points to the good. Obviously, getting stage points would help them with the cushion there. Ross Chastain, 13 points to the bad. He could definitely use stage points. Bubba Wallace, 26 to the bad. Tyler Reddick, 29 to the bad. Austin Cindric, especially at 48 to the bad. Likely are all in must-win situations. Logano, Briscoe go out of the race very early. That could obviously change for them. But, really, all 12 of these guys potentially could not flip the stages and stay out for points. And this, more so than other road courses that we've been to in the past, is a much harder track and circuit to get stage points and then come back and get a good finish on. You generally don't see both. We've seen a little bit of it, and SVG could, of course, be the outlier there, but likely there's no reason for him to not flip the stages. But yeah, that just to kind of set it all up again.
Yeah, and again, that's important, and we'll obviously talk through each of the drivers that we do give you and their scenario and why we think it's a good enough play and what their strategy should be going through this Roval. So we will do that. But first, allow me to tell you about our friends over at MyBookie. We're brought to you by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on football and everything else. Their prop builder, second to none. Their motto is bet on anything, anytime, anywhere. There's easy deposit and lightning fast payout using cryptocurrency. We just said goodbye to the AFL, the Aussie Rules Football male season, but now we are full swing into the women's division, and we have got the Hawthorne Hawks taking on the Fremantle Dockers tomorrow. I wanted it to, so Fremantle is at plus 16.5, right? They're giving Fremantle 16.5 points, but boy, I was taking a look at what Hawthorne's been doing lately, and they have been absolutely dominating. So maybe Hawthorne beat St. Kilda 40-17. They also took it to the Brisbane Lions by a few points there too. So I don't know. Maybe I will go ahead and take Hawthorne. I don't know. You tell me. You do your own research, figure it out. But I will tell you that all of the women's games are there for you. Aussie Rules Football women's slate is up on mybookie.ag. Go take advantage of that and have some fun watching those games as well. Head to mybookie.ag. Promo code SGPN for a 100% bet back bonus up to $500 for new customers. That's mybookie.ag. Promo code SGPN. Let's tell you about Novig. We're also brought to you by Novig. Novig is America's #1 sports prediction market. Since Novig is an exchange, you know you're getting some of the best prices in the market. It's also available in 35 states and growing. Download the Novig app and get $50 when you spend $5 if you use our promo code SGPN. Get in on the action with Novig, promo code SGPN. Shout out to, and I didn't have the name written down, and I should have. I'm sorry. But the commenter on our YouTube video the other day that said they were surprised to hear about Aussie Rules Football on a NASCAR show. So, yeah, listen.
Hey, we cover it all here, right?
I've said it time and time again. I love sports, and it doesn't matter what it is. It could be trash can rolling. It could be, whatever it is. I love it, and I will freely talk about any and all of it here. So,
yeah, that was Min Talks Ace, by the way.
Was it? Wait,
yes, that was the commenter.
Oh, thank you for doing that, because I didn't want to not give him credit for it. So, or her, the person credit for it.
The person.
All right. Well, then, as we do every week for our DFS episode, we will give you our high price driver, our mid tier driver, and our low price driver. And this week is no different. So, Cody, as we look ahead to this bastardization of an oval. What is your high price driver for the race?
It's not a road course. It's not an oval. It's the Roval. Okay. After that, Shane Van Gisbergen, 12,500. I mean, it's the most obvious play. Everybody's going to be playing him, as the expert suck said. 60% rostership. It's probably going to be higher than that, because how do you not play the guy? Now, again, there's going to be scenarios and instances where you want to be different. He's $12,500, and Kyle Larson is the next guy on the list. By the way, if you didn't hear the stat yesterday, only one driver has a worse average finish on road courses this year than Cody Ware, and it's Kyle Larson. But Kyle Larson did win here last year, so we'll give him credit for that. $10,500 is his price. He's $2,000 cheaper than SVG. They've got him priced as high to try and even it out, to try and make it more fair or whatever. But it's hard not to play him, and there's very few scenarios where he doesn't end up being the guy. We'll have to see how everything shakes out in qualifying. I was listening to Full Tank with Phil earlier this evening. Shout out to him, and he always gives the stats for where people who win the race. Nobody's ever won this race from the pole. I thought was interesting. And this race has been going since 2018. And then it was like not many people had won starting in the top 5, but everybody had won starting in the top 10, which was interesting as well. But go check out his show. Of course, it's a great show. But SVG, the level of domination we've seen this year on the road courses, it's been insane. And you go back, obviously there was the Chicago race. He goes out, he wins, he dominates all this stuff. He comes back and has a couple of rough races at the Indy road course, at Coda, Chicago even last year, kind of getting the feel of this car. The street course lined up good, and he's obviously very talented. Everything lined up with the weather and the new car and the street course and all the stuff lined up perfect for him. He got that win. And then, remember, that was in a Trackhouse car. Then he was in Colleague cars for all this stuff last year here at this race. He did lead 23 laps. He started in 6th place. He finished in 6th place. But again, Colleague car, not quite as up to par. Goes to, that was Coda earlier this year. Sorry, that's where he led 23 laps and started 6th finish. Last year at the Roval, he did start on the pole. But he finished in 7th place, led 21 laps. But again, Colleague feeling stuff out. Had that at Coda at the beginning of the year. But then it all clicked. He figured it out. And now that he's figured it out, he's been unstoppable, right? We went to Mexico City. He led 60 laps, started on the pole, wins the race. Chicago starts on the pole, leads 26, wins the race. Sonoma starts on the pole, leads 97, wins the race. Watkins Glen starts 2nd, leads 38 laps, wins the race. There's definitely scenarios where he's not necessarily worth all the money, but as you go back and you look, I mean, even at the Watkins Glen where, 18 fastest laps, 38 laps led. 38 isn't a ton when there's, of laps led, but when there's only so many laps led, there's only 100 laps to be led. It is still a lot, and he scored 63.6 points. That's a great day. Sonoma was a huge day, 86.8. Chicago was 62.3. Mexico was 68.1. I think he's going to start on the pole. I think that he's going to run away with this very early. He's going to lead a lot of laps. He's going to flip the stages, and they haven't always flipped the stages throughout this season, and he stayed out and got stage points and all that stuff. And there's just no reason for them to do that now. There's one goal for this team. That's to go out and win. The best way to do that, flip the stages. That's going to immediately put him back in the lead where he can lead laps and go back to green, and then it's going to cycle back through again. I expect him to be up front most of the race. I expect him to run away from everybody most of the race. I don't see many ways where SVG doesn't have a catastrophic problem that he's not the guy. And, it's not happened this year really since he's figured it out. And if this is the week, sure, you're going to want to have some different plays in some of these GPPs and stuff because everybody is going to have them and it'll give you a great advantage if something bad happens, but something bad isn't really happening very often to this guy. He's figured it out. All we heard going into Watkins Glen, but this track's different. It's not. And the Roval's not different either. He's going to be the guy. And I think you go all in on it. You play him. It's 12,500. save money elsewhere. And I think that him leading all these laps is going to take away from other people being able to be valuable. It's going to be so hard to pick between all these playoff guys, which ones flip, which ones don't flip. That could cost their finishing position if they're not leading laps. They're really not scoring any points for you. Don't overthink it. Play SVG, other than when you're trying to be different, which of course you should be in some cases and scenarios.
Yeah, and I think it was JDK yesterday that brought up the fact that he even when he flipped stages, he's still fast enough to get back up to the lead if given enough time. So it's not as if he's not fast enough to even overcome a flipping of the stage. So this is something to keep in mind. And I think, I think what you said, Cody, I don't know where that came from. The point that you made about just you got to load up on him, and you have to know that if he does go out to dominate the way he is, like, you can't ignore that. And it's very difficult to find somebody else that's going to be as dominant, especially in some of these cash games. You can't try to get too cute in that instance because you just have to take the points where you know they're going to be. Again, we try to control a sport that can't be controlled, but there are things that we have seen several times over that lead us to believe that the inevitable is going to happen.
Yeah. I think at cash you have to play him. I think that the times where you don't play him is when you're, a single entry or you're entering a ton of lineups or whatever it is in these bigger contests. Not playing him is going to make you different. It's going to set you apart. If I'm doing this 99 out of 100 times, I don't think it's going to work for you. But if we get that one time where a tire falls off or, somebody, Cody Ware just fucking goes crazy and wrecks him as he's lapping him or whatever the case is, then yes, but just that happening. And the Roval, you kind of talked about it, I think, is a pretty clean race most years. Like, we don't see a ton of cautions. We don't see a ton of chaos. That can always happen, right? And TK saying he's concerned about somebody like Ty Gibbs. It won't be nice. But the problem with that is, are those guys even going to be around him? Because he might just run away from everybody, and you're just going to have to worry about restarting the stages when – well, and even I don't think because people are going to flip and then they're going to pit after the stage caution. So he's going to be right back up front. I just think that, it might be obvious, but don't overthink it. Just play SVG this week.
Yeah, and so the experts suck, just to follow up on that too. He said, speaking of NASCAR, which is his favorite verb, what's the history of chaos? I said this in the betting episode yesterday. There's not a lot of cautions for cause in this one. I think last year there was only one caution for cause, and then the couple of stage breaks, and so there's really not a lot. I think four was the one where cardboard gate. That was really what it was.
Well, that was bullshit because it was a boring fucking race. Chase Elliott was just killing everyone on his way to cashing all of our bets. There was a piece of the sign on the track for 50 fucking laps. You could see it there every time they passed it, and suddenly it was worth a caution. Fucked everything up, and Christopher Bell won. But do go back and look at Chase Elliott's win the year he won the Roval. Look at the highlights from that. It was crazy. He stuffed his car into the barrier, left for dead, comes all the way back to win. Crazy. There was one year where it was super rainy and stuff, but I think it's like a 10% chance for rain this weekend. So I don't think that's going to be a factor. It is a cut race. That's always a concern for chaos and somebody getting NASCAR'd. But in general, I don't want to oversell it too much in case it is a crazy week because we've seen shit happen. But in general, it is pretty tame. And really all the road courses have been this year, which I think plays into SVG as well because he just runs away and hides from everybody, and it's not really a competition.
Yeah. And I'm not sure that I totally agree with the boo, no chaos, no excitement. I feel like we'll get some good racing. It's just a different kind of excitement.
Yeah. There will still be excitement. I mean, the race for second on back is going to be great. But first place is already taken care of.
I do believe that as well. However, I will offer you as my high price driver, the man who leads the top drivers at the Charlotte Roval in the next gen era in average finish, AJ Allmendinger. You talked about him in the betting episode, that my spirit driver. I can't get away from him on road courses. Doesn't matter how many times he's burned me, but he's got an average finish here of 3.7 in his 3 races at the Roval in the next-gen era. He's got a win, 2 top 5s, and 3 top 10 finishes. What does that mean in terms of points for you in a DFS lineup? Well, he had the 8th most points in the 2024 race here. 40.3 is what he got you in that race. He got you the most in the 2023 race, where he got you 69.15. Never mind. I don't even want it anymore. Nope, too late.
What was it? Did you say 61.5?
I said 69.15.
You said 61. That's why I didn't get it.
Oh, 69.
You messed it up, Rod. Start over. He got what?
He got 69.15 points.
Nice.
The moment has passed. He started 6th, finished first, had 17 fast laps, led 46 of those laps as well. And then AJ Allmendinger in the 2022 got you the second most points to one Kevin Harvick, where he got you 59.8 points, where he started 7th, finished 4th, had 24 fast laps, led 24 laps. You're sensing a pattern here, right? AJ Allmendinger getting you a nice, solid DFS day every time he set foot on this Roval. And lest we forget, this man owned this track in the Xfinity Series. 4 straight wins and a second-place finish for him as the driver of the 10 and the 16 College car into the Xfinity Series. So, I mean, look, AJ Allmendinger comes in at about $9,000 in this one. And honestly, to Shane's 12.5, if there is going to be somebody that is going to be up front with Shane Van Gisbergen, and it's going to be AJ. And I will say that they will probably play a lot of the same strategy because AJ has nothing to drive for other than a win either, right? So these guys were former teammates. These guys know each other. They know that they're both the road course kings, especially when it comes to the Roval. And these two have not been on the track in the Roval at the same time yet. So this is going to be interesting because with AJ, we know that he is a man that can get around this Roval very well. 6th place in 2024. He ended up finishing here. He won in 2023. He was 4th place in 2022. He ended up 38th, unfortunately, in 2021. Not a good day for him there, but again, that was when he was starting to be on the back end of this Cup career, and they wanted to ship him back down to Xfinity, and then they realized, oh, that was a mistake. But 7th place in 2018 on the Roval in the Cup Series. So again, we know he's a perennial top 10 and a winner on road courses. So for these guys to battle it out on the Roval for supremacy, I have my popcorn ready, Cody, because I feel like this is going to be a pretty good duel between these guys because, like we said, they're going to be on the same strategy. They're not going to be worried about points. They're not going to be worried about anything other than getting that checkered flag at the end, which makes this a fun battle to watch. And I think of the folks that are going to be there, him and SVG will probably be leading the most laps between the two of them. And like I said, that leads to a lot of points. That leads to a lot of fun. He's led 89 laps, has AJ Allmendinger around this course, and he's led in each of the last 4, 14, 46, 24, and 5, going back to 2021. So, yeah, it's AJ Allmendinger at $9,000. I'll take it.
Yeah, I love this play. We talked about him on the betting episode yesterday. I sort of left it open for you to grab him in this one because I know you'd want to talk about him a little bit. But, yeah, he's great at this track. I don't know that he's really any competition for SVG this week because I don't think anybody is. But we have seen where, somebody gets in front of SVG early. Maybe he just the way the start goes, AJ jumps out front. SVG doesn't mind just running behind somebody for a little while. He's not looking to overrun his tires or his equipment. He just, I'll just hang out behind this guy. I'll look for his weaknesses, right? He's analyzing all that. So you could get that opportunity where a guy like AJ does lead a bunch of laps with SVG just closely following him the whole time and studying him. So yeah, I don't mind this play at all. And even if he doesn't lead laps, I think he'll have a good, strong finish. We talked about him, I think, for top 5 and some other stuff yesterday. I love AJ this week, and $9,000 I think is a great price for him.
Thank you, JDK. Yes, they were in both Xfinity, but I will say who got the better of them, or TK rather.
Different K.
All you guys in your Ks, TK, they were both. You are correct, TK. I did forget last year because I tend to do that, but I will ask you though, who do you think got the better of the two in the Xfinity series?
Well, AJ did because he finished second here last year.
Not in Xfinity. In Cup.
Yeah.
But who got the better of him in the Cup?
Oh, in Cup was AJ as well.
Yes,
AJ
it was.
Finished. Yes, but yeah, SVG was in college, different year, all that stuff.
Don't care.
SVG's gonna be fine this weekend round. I think we've established.
Don't care.
That.
Don't care. I established that nothing. All right, no, I'm just kidding. All right. Let's get down to some mid-tier drivers here, but before we do, I would like to officially tell you about our friends over at Underdog Fantasy. Underdog is a great place to play Fantasy Pick'em, where you can win up to 5,000 times your entry. Simply pick higher or lower on your favorite player's stats. It's available in a ton of sports, including the Canadian Football League, where the Ottawa Red Blacks taking on the Saskatchewan Roughriders on Friday at 4:30 Pacific. How about Dustin Crum? Dustin Crum is the short yardage guy for the Ottawa Red Black, the short yardage quarterback for them. Comes in goal-to-go situations. They've got his rushing and receiving TDs at half of a rushing and receiving TD. Well, of course, it's going to be rushing if it's Dustin Crum. But I'm going to take the higher then because, we always love when we get to the goal line and they bring in the other quarterback and the other quarterback pushes forward for a yard and the touchdown. So Dustin Crum can do exactly that. So, yeah, give me Dustin Crum. Higher than a half of a rushing and receiving touchdown over there for the Ottawa Red Blacks against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Friday at 4:30. Underdog has got a brand new offer for customers. Play just $5 and get $100 in bonus funds when you sign up with the promo code RACE, SGPN. Football's back, baby. It's been back, and it's continuing to be back, and Rhythm is off to a great start in college football and the NFL. Rhythm has introduced a leaderboard with weekly cash prizes just for tracking your bets in the app. Track 5 bets of the same type from any model you build. You can win $1,000. Looking at some of these predictions right now, I was telling you the other day about the Texans and the Ravens, right? So the Ravens were only a 1.5 favorites, and now the model is shifted to 2.5 point favorites for the Baltimore Ravens at home against the Houston Texans. Suppose you guys probably went out and moved the lines, moved some predictions, because I did not think that the Ravens, as banged up as they could possibly be, still deserve to only be a 1.5 underdogs to the Texans. So now it's 2.5. Still take that or whatever line you can find it in. But Rhythm is leading you in that direction. Use promo code SGPN25 when you download the Rhythm app for 25% off of your first month. Download Rhythm and use promo code SGPN25. And you listen to me too because I'm the 10th best predictor against the spread in the tally site world, right?
Yeah, that's so good, Rod.
I love that you just like, yeah, Rod, take your little 10th place medal.
Yeah.
Go.
Hey. I was the top guy at SGP in week 3.
You
Rod,
were.
So
you were. And you got your nice little
humble brag.
Yeah, you got your nice little bonus for it.
Yeah, we get a little weekly contest we got going. So I let somebody else win week 4, but I'm probably going to try and take the top crown again this week.
Remind me who won DFS a couple weeks ago, both series? That was me.
I would have won last week. I didn't play Captain Shook like a fucking idiot, Rod. So won't catch me doing that this week. But you will catch me playing Joseph Logano, $7,500. Not a guy you think of when you think of road courses. Is one Joey Logano, but you should think of him when you think of the Roval because he's been really good here. And really, at this price, at $7,500, a pretty cheap price. Again, a guy that could points race. He's 13 points to the good, but he's got to be in the right situation because if you're out there and there's 8 guys that stay out in front of you because he's not running great at the beginning of the race, which I don't super expect from him, although I guess he did start 4th here last year, so qualified pretty well and started 7th a couple years ago, so maybe he does. But either way, he's been able to find good finishes in both those races, so I'm not worried about it. And really been pretty good on the road courses this year. He finished 14th at Watkins Glen, 9th at Sonoma, 11th at the street race even, 21st at Mexico, 24th at Coda, not the best of finishes, but 8th place here at the Roval last year after starting 4th. Not a fluke because he started in 7th and finished in 5th in 2023. You go back to 2022, he actually started on the pole here and led 27 laps, so props to him for that. Now, the finish wasn't there. He finished in 18th, had a bit of a rough day, but he's been good here. He finished 2nd place here back, if you go back to 2020 at this track, finished 10th place here back in 2019. So even back into the old car, 10th place here in 2018. So he's been pretty solid at this track throughout his entire career. Very good at having good runs and finishing well here. And even if you go back to last year, like 15th place at Watkins Glen, 21st at Sonoma's not bad, 11th at Coda. Then you go back to 23, you got that 5th place here that I mentioned, 10th at Watkins Glen, 8th at the street course, 3rd at Sonoma. third at Watkins Glen in 22, sixth at the Indy Road Course in 22. So while we don't really think of him as a road course guy, he's not a bad road course guy. And we know Joey Logano, 3-time champion. He's a well-rounded guy, right? We like to joke, and it does seem crazy that it's every other year. It's the even years where he shows up and does well, but this is the playoffs. This is crunch time. He generally shows up pretty good. And last year, he was in this same type of position where he was below the cut line when he came in, needed to have a good run, and he did, and it wasn't enough to advance him until Alex Bowman got disqualified, which helped him out, and he ends up going on to win the championship, right? But in general, he puts himself in the right positions to advance, to get to the next round, to figure things out. He'll find his way to point his way in this week. He'll go win at Las Vegas next week. We'll crown him the champion at Phoenix. We've seen this story before, right? But in all seriousness, at $7,500, he's a guy that's been very reliable at this track in particular, extremely reliable in the playoffs for being the hardest guy in the garage to handicap. These are the things we know when he's reliable, right? Is certain tracks that he's figured out, he constantly finishes well on, playoff time finishes well, and been decent on road courses this year, kind of under the radar. You're spending up on a guy like SVG at the top of the board. He's a guy here in the middle of the range that saves you a good bit of money, but has pretty decent upside. So give me old Joseph Logano, Mr. 3-time, at $7,500.
Well, and it's funny because I did peg him as a top 10 car in the betting episode, given that his average finish here is 10.3.
Honestly, that's the thing that scares me the most is we've been on him in both the betting and DFS episode, which
we're screwed.
Could be scary.
We're screwed. Sorry about all of you Joseph Logano ticket holders because we just jinxed him for sure. But no, I'm with you on Joey. And again, I think that is a huge misprice for a guy who you will probably get some pretty good fantasy points out of next week, or this week rather. You got your 32 points last season, 41 the season before, and then unfortunately did not get you some good points. You get 16 points in 2022, but one outlier, two good ones. All right. I'm not saving you a whole hell of a lot of money. I think what I'm going for is this is my dinger lineup. So if you guys want to go on this one, you're going to have to spend up on a couple of these other guys. And Chris Buescher, $8,700. It's not within the spirit, I suppose, of a mid-tier driver, but it kind of is because we stay in that $8,700 range.
I will say, Rod, without spoiler alert, but we'll easily, maybe not. Oh, yeah, I already put him in there. Well, who the fuck? Oh, yeah. We'll easily be able to fit all these guys that we're giving out in the lineup with money to spare. So,
oh my God,
you can even putting in the SVG, even SVG and AJ, like you can still build good solid lineups. Sorry to interrupt, but I wanted to interject that.
No, and it's good because now it makes me feel less bad for giving out.
$1,600 left over with the guys we're giving out. Again, we're not fully building the lineups. We don't have all the details, but we're finding guys even going to the top of the board and at the bottom. We're not really going all the way to the bottom either. Like Josh Blicky's not on there. Cody Ware's not on there. So, we're not too bad for not really planning this out and literally making our picks right before the show that we didn't plan to do tonight.
It's all right. This is why we're professionals this far into the season, right? We know where we're going with this. But all right, so Chris Buescher. There he is. Chris Buescher is averaging 10. His average finish is 10th here in the next-gen era. 3 races in that span. 2 top 10 finishes for Christopher Buescher in this one. What does that mean in terms of fantasy points? Well, Christopher Buescher got you 39.35, starting 29th in 2024, finishing 17th, had 3 fastest laps. And then in the 2023 race, Chris Buescher got you the 4th most fantasy points on the day, 50.9 points, started 20th, finished 7th, had 2 fast laps. Chris Buescher in 2022 got you the 5th most fantasy points on the day, 53.45, started 21st, finished 6th with 1 fast lap. What that tells me, can't qualify for shit on this track, but he can slowly improve his positions and get there. So that to me already screams I'm good with that because his average start here is 18.4. Average finish is 12.6 altogether. Like that's in his entire career. What the next gen era doesn't cover is the 16th place start that he had in 2021 and the 3rd place finish that he managed that year as well. So some really good runs in that 17 car so far. What's that meant as far as this season in road courses for Chris Buescher? How about Austin, where he started in 24th place, ended up finishing in 7th. That is a gigantic swing. A great day for you in fantasy, where he got you 54.9 points at the race at Coda. That's a good one. How about the, let's see, we go down to the other ones that you got going on. Mexico City, a 10th place finish there. He got you an 18th place finish in Chicago. Road course, baddie stuff going on, bad. 16th place finish at Sonoma. That's pretty good. Unfortunately, he started 14th and finished 16th, but that's not a huge thing. But Watkins Glen, that's the biggie right there. He got you a 3rd place finish at Watkins Glen, getting you 53 points. Just the most recent road course that we had, 53 points, coming off of a solid road course finish. I mean, you talked about him in the betting episode, Cody, and you know, we're kind of swapping around who we're talking about in the betting episode and the DFS episode. But Chris Buescher just silently being one of those guys that's pretty damn good at road courses. So I just feel like the sky's the limit for him. And, yeah, I'll take that. He won at Watkins Glen in 2024 after starting 24th. So you want to talk about a really good DFS day. That's a solid one. Sonoma last year started 26th, finished 3rd. Coda started 20th, finished 8th. Roval started 20th, finished 7th. Watkins Glen started 13th, finished 7th. Like, this guy's a solid DFS play on any road course that you go to. So give me Chris Buescher, $8,700.
Yeah, fully endorse this one. Love Chris Buescher. And like the AJ Allmendinger, like the SVG, you don't have to worry. Is he going to run for points? Is he going to do? No, they're not racing for anything but going out there trying to win. And if anybody can outduel SVG, you've seen him do it before. Granted, that was before SVG figured everything out, call the car, all that stuff. But he did. He outdueled SVG for that Watkins Glen win that you referenced there a minute ago last year. So, yeah, Chris Buescher he's just so fucking reliable on road courses. Rarely has bad days on road courses. And you got to love that. So, fully on board with the Chris Buescher play. Talked about this guy yesterday for long shot top 10. Going to bring him back up again today. It's Austin Dillon, $5,400. You know, it's kind of weird to me that the way that they price some of these guys, like a Joey Logano, on a week-to-week basis, who I just talked about, while they price up SVG at 12.5, Joey Logano, $9,200 last week, $10,000 a couple weeks ago, $9,200, $10,500 a couple of weeks back, and now he's only $7,500. They really dropped these prices, but then you find guys like Joey Logano that have been pretty good. You find guys like Austin Dillon that aren't too bad, and he's also being priced lower. So $5,400, if you go to the bottom of the board, you know, there's guys, he's not really all the way down there. There's plenty of guys underneath of him, but you're getting him here at this price. And what's crazy, $6,500 last week where he got you 4 points at Kansas, $6,500 the week before for 45 points, but then he was $7,300 at Bristol to get you 10 points. But you go back and you look at some of these road courses, $6,100 at Watkins Glen, and he scores you 38 points. Then you go back to Sonoma, only $5,300 like he is here. He scored you 33 points. So it kind of doesn't line up with how well he's actually done on some of these road courses and why they keep dropping his points when there's less points to be had, but he's scoring more points on these races anyways. And then he's really worked on his road course craft the last couple of years. In a general sense, kind of looking at his road courses, it's not great. I'll be completely honest about that, and I think that's part of why it's been dropped down. But at the Roval in particular, he's actually been pretty good. Now, last year, he finished in 32nd place, so that one was not a good finish. But in 2023, in the next-gen car here, he finished in 14th after starting in 15th. That's a pretty solid day for a guy at $5,300. You go back to 2022, the first next-gen race here, starts in 15th, finishes in 10th. So 2 of the 3 next-gen races, he's been really good here. And even pre-next gen, 15th place in 2021 was a good run. He was 19th in 2020. Rough day back in 2018, 23rd in 2019 is fine. But the point being, 2 of the 3 next gen races, he's been good. Even pre-next gen, he was pretty decent here. Watkins Glen, he started in 25th, finished in 15th, had a good solid day there. You know, even Sonoma starting in 33rd, if he's going to start towards the back, finishing in 21st, that's a pretty solid day. I referenced his points a few minutes ago. He's had some good days. There's definitely some bad days. Mexico, he didn't finish well. Coda was 35th. The Roval last year I mentioned, but there's plenty of good ones mixed in here too. Even Indy Road Course where he finished in 16th a couple of years ago. Watkins Glen, he finished 17th a couple of years ago. 11th place at Sonoma. there's enough mixed in here where he can have really positive days. And on the Roval in particular, with last year kind of being the outlier, and I believe now I was thinking last year was the year that Larson lost his brakes and wiped him out, but maybe that was a different track because Larson won here last year. So I don't remember what happened to him last year, but point being, at $5,400, way down here at the bottom of the board, if you want to play a guy like SVG at the top, and we mentioned it, all these guys have easily fit in this lineup so far. I kind of really like Austin Dillon this week, which you shouldn't probably say much outside of Richmond, but hey, we're going to do it.
Well, listen, for around the $5,000, you got the 15th most fantasy points in 2023, where he got you 30.45. And then in 2022, he got you the 15th as well, 39.5. So like Cody said, I mean, you know, when you're paying $5,000 for him and you're getting about 30 to 35 points in return, that's really not a bad deal for Austin Dillon. So I absolutely love this. My low price guy, talked about him a couple weeks ago, and he did us well. I don't think we brought him up last week, thank God, because he didn't do well. Oh, wait. You did, right? No, neither one of us did.
Only for like 3 different bets.
Oh, that's right. Josh Berry, DFS World. 50.
He was so fast in the spring, Rod. I was there. I saw it in person.
Really
why do I keep falling for this trap? I don't understand it.
It's okay. It's because I got you hyped back up again because of his his performance at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. But on this particular track, Josh Berry is $5,300, and Josh Berry got you 32 points on the Roval last year in that 4-car altogether. Now, this year has not been all wine and roses for Josh Berry. We talked about him a lot as far as the fact that he won at Indy and it made us all excited. I mean, he won at Las Vegas, rather. He made us all excited. That's Bubba Wallace won at Indy. Josh Berry won at Las Vegas and got us all excited, and then just went on a spree of some pretty bad finishes. But before that, 26th place at Austin, but he did start 35th, so not a terrible DFS day for you there. Mexico City was a bad finish. He did finish 13th at Sonoma after starting 25th, so that's a pretty good day for him there. Watkins Glen was not really that good of a day either. So it's been up and down for Josh Berry in terms of just overall performance at all, right? He's averaging 17.8 fantasy points per race, and you say, well, Rod, why does that make you feel very good at all about it? Well, it kind of doesn't, but I will say there is some upside. Like I said, in Sonoma, he finished 13th, started 25th. Last season, he had some pretty decent DFS days. At Coda, he started 35th and finished 26th. At the Roval last year, like I said, he got you a pretty decent amount of points, started 36th, finished 22nd. Watkins Glen last year, he started 31st and finished 25th. You know, some DFS days that at $5,000, what do we ask? Don't lose points. Like you did last week, I understand that. But for Josh Berry, this is just one of those punt plays where if you look at the guys that are below him, Ricky Stenhouse, Riley Herbst, Ty Dillon, Cody Ware, Josh Bilicki, even above him, Cole Custer, not excited about that. Justin Haley, not excited about that. Eric Jones, I think in this instance, I'm so sad because it feels like we've hyped up Legacy so much that, you know, I would say play Eric Jones, but by the same token, it would break my heart because he's probably not going to do well on the Roval. And when you look at these, so the folks at iFantasy Race, Ryan at iFantasy Race, always puts together the point totals for every season from the standpoint of DFS. And like Eric Jones got you 10 points last week, or last season rather, at this. Josh Bilicki got you 20. Haley got you 21. It's just not, you know, it doesn't move the needle for me. Whereas a guy like Josh Berry that can maybe get you 32, that makes me feel a lot better. So I'll take Josh Berry at $5,300. One roll, baby, before I put him back on the shelf.
Well, we're going to Las Vegas next week where he won in the spring round.
I'm probably going to keep him on the shelf there, too. I don't know.
I
maybe.
I see this nice berry you have. Why is it next to a stick underneath this box? Should I? I'm not falling for this trap again, Rod. Leave me out of this.
The carrot. You saw the carrot and you wanted to chase after it. It's okay.
Berry.
It's okay. I get it. You don't have to endorse it. Just you know, that is my pick.
I'm legally contracted to not endorse it at this point in time. So
that sounds familiar.
I have submitted this entry because I do that every week, but I'm not endorsing it.
It's okay. We'll get out your pen and paper. You can endorse this by writing these down. For the Bank of America ROVAL 400, our DFS picks, Cody started you off with SVG. SVG at 12.5 as his high price driver. I said, give me the dinger, $9,000, my Spirit driver as my high price driver. Cody gave you Joey Logano rather. He will never give you Josh Berry at $7,500 as his mid-tier driver. I gave you Christopher Buescher at $8,700 as my mid-tier driver. Cody stepped down to Austin Dillon at $5,400 for his low-price driver. I said Josh Berry, $5,300. Give me the pain, give me the torture, give me the fun and the sweat of that one. So, all right, that'll do it for the Bank of America ROVAL, Cody, because there is not just 2 series going on. We're going to actually do something different. We're going to give you a bonus pick from each of the trucks and the Xfinity series. This doesn't have to be a high price mid-tier or anybody. It's just a driver that you particularly like in this to build a fantasy lineup around. So I believe we should start with the truck series because it is the first time, Cody, the truck series will ever take to the Charlotte ROVAL. So we have no anything to back this up for the what is it? It is the EcoSave 250, not to be confused with the EcoSave 200 that we had earlier in Las Vegas. But it's 67 laps, just an absolute sprint around this
6-7. Oh, God, I'm sorry. I have a preteen daughter. So
I walk around like this now. I'm like, no, Dad, don't do that. Yeah, I know 6-7. Anyways, 6-7 laps around this 2.280 mile road course. So Cody, who is the driver that you are pinpointing for your Truck Series DFS lineup?
Yeah, Rod, I'm going to go near the bottom of the board here. Pick one of my 5. I absolutely love this guy. I play him pretty much anytime he ever makes a start on the road course or, really, anytime he ever starts in the Truck Series, I play him. And that is Timmy Hill, $5,900. Just Mr. Points scorer. He doesn't ever start well. Thank God. It's a beautiful sight. And he pretty much always finishes better than he starts. Daytona, of course, is a little different, but started 33rd, finished 11th there. This is probably going to be a chaotic race because it's the trucks on a road course, and it's almost always chaotic. Timmy Hill, very good at avoiding the chaos, minding his P's and Q's, and getting to the front of the field. Darlington, even a Darlington track. The lady, what is it? The Lady in Black, the track Too Tough to Tame. I tried to combine them. The Lady Too Tough to Tame. He started in 23rd, finished in 8th. Watkins Glen road course started in 26th, finishes in 20th. It's enough to get you some solid points at a cheap price. Lime Rock, 27th to 25th. That's a road course. Charlotte was 27th to 19th. Rockingham was 26th to 21st. He doesn't race every single week, but when he does, he finishes better than he starts. That's what you love to see about him. Last year, one road course they went to, that was Coda. He started in 27th, finished in 17th. It is just a beautiful, beautiful thing from Timmy Hill. He's very consistent with it. Coda back in 2023, started in 29th, finished in 25th. It's just, sometimes it's not a lot, but he moves up. Mid-Ohio in 2023, started in 33rd, finished in 21st. It's the Timmy Hill way. He's good at avoiding the chaos. He personally is involved in building these trucks and paying for them. It's a family-owned team. He's not trying to tear the shit up. And it's great because he's so good at avoiding the chaos, so good at just checking his little boxes, stacking his pennies back there. So, yeah, give me Timmy Hill at $5,900. He is I would imagine, I can almost guarantee if you go back and look at every single truck race he's been in this year, I've played him in a majority of my contests because he is just, anytime he's in the trucks or Xfinity, he's an automatic plug and play. He doesn't ever start well, and he always finishes a little better than he starts. He doesn't lose your points. I love Timmy Hill, and I love his brother doesn't race as much anymore. We haven't seen I'm sort of forgetting what his brother's name is. It's also a T. We haven't seen that T Hill in a bit. But give me Timmy, $5,900.
There's so many other T names. Tommy, Thaddeus,
I was thinking
Theodore.
Yeah. What? God, that's gonna drive me.
You'll have to just
Tanner, but I don't.
That's Tanner and Taylor. Those are the Gray brothers, my friend.
Yeah, I'll figure it out and report back.
Okay, good. Well, with Connor Zilic being in this lineup at $1,500, yeah, you absolutely need to have some sort of salary relief on guys that'll actually score you some good points. Therefore, I will give you Caden Honeycutt, $8,000 for Caden Honeycutt in this particular race. I mean, look, Caden Honeycutt in that 52 car, or the 52 truck rather, that was Tyler Hill. There we go. Yes. Thanks, Google.
Thanks, TK.
Yeah, thanks, TK, not Google. We asked TK, and TK had the answer. TK, not JDK. But no, for Caden Honeycutt, he's $8,000. He's in the playoffs. He's 7 points out of the cut line. Obviously, the trucks don't make their cut until after Martinsville, so we got a couple of weeks there. But I will say that, listen, for Caden Honeycutt, he's only 7 points out. There doesn't need to be any craziness to be happening. He just needs to run a nice, clean race, go stay up toward the point, get some good point totals, and just be clean through the whole day. And Caden Honeycutt can obviously do that. He just finished 7th last week at New Hampshire. He finished 12th at Bristol after starting 4th, 18th at Darlington, 10th at Richmond. But we've only had a couple of road courses for the Xfinity Series. I mean, not as many as we've had for the Cup Series, but Watkins Glen, he had a drivetrain problem. That sucked for him. He finished 34th in that race. But Lime Rock, he had a good 12th place finish. It was a 6th place start, but still a good 12th place finish for that one. And then we went to for them. Yeah, I mean, it was like there's not very many road courses for the for them. Watkins Glen. Yeah, that's it. Watkins Glen and Lime Rock. But a good 12th place finish at Lime Rock for Caden Honeycutt in the Truck Series. So, yeah, I mean, not a lot to go off of. But, again, we know that Caden Honeycutt can get it done. We know that he's been pretty good all season long. He is averaging 28.7 fantasy points per race on a string of races in which he scored you at least 20 fantasy points. And, just has the potential of getting it done for you week in and week out. So, like me some Caden Honeycutt into that 45 truck.
Yeah, I like the play as well. I think Caden is a very good driver, and he gets the job done, so I will endorse that one.
Beautiful. All right, let's turn our attention to the Xfinity race where, this is not one where they're just now going on to it. They've been on it before. It is the Drive for the Cure 250, 67 laps as well, 6 or 7 laps around. It's very rare that the trucks and the Xfinity Series run the same amount of laps, but
same distance.
Yeah, same distance.
Crazy.
It's a long truck race. That's a grueling
Somebody
truck
saw
race.
6-7, and they were like, "Well, we just got to pull the trigger."
Just got to pull the trigger. But yeah, so Cody, who's your driver for this race?
Yes, Rod. Well, honorable mention to our guy Sam Mayer. We'll talk about him more on tomorrow's show. But give me Dean Thompson, $6,400. I just am in love with the mustache, and it's been paying off week after week. Kansas last week, I was told that the SHR equipment sucks a mile and a half, and it couldn't handle it, and he was running top 10 all day. He had a chance at the top 5 had it not been for a little slip up there, but, finishes in 10th place. It's a good, solid day for him. He was 12th at Bristol. He was 16th at Worldwide Technologies, 7th place at Daytona, 13th at Watkins Glen, road course, by the way. Good, solid run. Starts in 19th, finishes good. 10th place at Indy. A rough Iowa in there, but Dover was 16th. 18th from 35th to 18th at Sonoma. Another good finish. 33rd to 14th at Chicago. Good finishes really all season for Dean Thompson. And just to kind of highlight the road course aspects of it, Portland kind of the outlier, started 22nd, finished 32nd. He got caught up in it, but Watkins Glen was, as I mentioned, 19th to 13th. That's a good solid day. Sonoma, 35th to 18th. Beautiful. Chicago, 33rd to 14th. Beautiful. Coda, 30th to 18th. Beautiful. Mexico, 26th to 12th. Beautiful. Don't qualify well in this race, Dean Thompson, but go out and finish well like you have all damn season, really at every single track. $6,400 for a guy who's become reliable. Dean Thompson. I mean, it's amazing how reliable, how good and strong he's run all season. And you can't say enough for getting out of the squirrels and suddenly your nuts aren't getting cracked every week, because he was having a fucking massive problem in the trucks. And it doesn't exist anymore. He's been solid. He's been good. Love me some Dean Thompson at $6,400.
You just love the mustache, and rightfully so.
It's beautiful.
It is. It's absolutely.
It was all about the mustache at Kansas last week. You see that mustache Chase Elliott had? That's the only reason he won that race, Rod. Beautiful mustache like that, and look, Dean Thompson. The mustache has been paying off this year, so ride the mustache. That's what I always say.
JDK, this is after dark. Thaddeus is the second name that Rod goes for in team names. Very Rod of you. Well,
it is very Rod of Rod.
I don't, you just pull shit out of your ass and Thaddeus comes out. It's just
Thaddeus came out before Tyler. Whatever.
I just maybe it's my watching of all of these weird and off the wall sports that I get Thaddeus instead of like Tommy or whatever. But I did say Tommy first. But all right. speaking of names that you don't hear very often, Christian Eckes, $8,100. I mean, I understand and I get it because he's $8,100 and for a very, very damn good reason. He was $7,800 or $7,600 last year. The jump is because Christian Eckes is just so good at road courses. 51.4 points on the day in Portland, where he got you he started 15th and ended up finishing in 4th at that race. Just a damn good day. Watkins Glen, you want to talk about a fantastic day there. How about starting 36th, finishing 8th, getting you 64 fantasy points on the day? That is just good chop-licking stuff. Sonoma, bad day. Throw that one away. It was a 34th place finish for him there. But Mexico City started 34th, ended up finishing in 4th place on the day. 70 fantasy points in that particular race. I mean, stop me if you're not feeling him on road courses. Austin started in 10th, finished up in 5th in that particular race as well. So, I mean, he got you 44.9. So even at his worst on some of these road courses, getting you 40 some odd points at $8,000. I get that's a little pricey, but boy, it's just there to be able to get there. You know, it just, God, he just, every single week people forget that Christian Eckes is still good. And that 16 car, I just got done telling you with AJ Allmendinger how absolutely dominant it was at this track, right? He's never been on the
more
Roval.
wins than a second place finish.
At that car,
that's all that 16 car has done here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's incredible. And Eckes has really, I think, learned a lot from AJ. He's been very good in his rookie season on the road courses. And the one bad finish in there is a mechanical failure, which you're going to happen with Colleague every once in a while, especially in Xfinity. But I really like it.
Imagine how good he'd be if his name was Thaddeus Eckes. That would be just a fast car.
Thaddeus is a very like authoritative Thaddeus.
Thaddeus.
It makes you. It's like a big, strong man's name, I guess. I don't really know.
I am Thaddeus. All right. You could tell we're getting Luke.
NASCAR Gambling Podcast After Dark for you.
Grandpa, go to bed. It is time for me to put myself to bed before I embarrass anybody else anymore, up to and including my kids. I always think to myself sometimes, my legacy, right? When you think of legacy, my legacy is this show, and my kids are going to just cringe the entire time. Dad doing this and you know, like saying Thaddeus, and sorry kids, sorry that this is what your dad does on a daily basis.
Well, you know, at least we're having fun. That's all that matters.
That is all that matters. All right, Cody. Well then, that is it for the DFS episode for this week. Really good one. In fact, we filled a lot of time on this one.
We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, fuck the books. They want to throw us off our game. You can't. We're here anyways. We'll come back and get you tomorrow. So yeah, join us tomorrow. I think we should be live around
2, our normal
what time, Ron? 2 Pacific, 5 Eastern time, something like that. So yeah, subscribe to the YouTube Gambling Net. Let's back that you can subscribe, as I was going to say, to the NASCAR Gambling Podcast on YouTube. Click the bell, and it'll alert you when we're live. TK wants to know, wow, 5:08 there. Jesus, this is fucking Thursday's already done. It's 11:08 p.m. for me here on the Central Time Zone.
9 o'clock.
About 9 o'clock for Rod there on the Eastern Coast.
Still past my bedtime.
All right, Rod. Yeah, it's past my bedtime too. So getting out of here. Follow me on the X at Husker_Zeb. You can find all my stuff. Rod, I want to leave you with a fun statistic here as you're going to set your Cup Series lineups. Cody Ware's average finish on road courses in 2025, 30.2. Kyle Larson, 31.0.
Is that what you want to leave us with?
That's it. I'm done.
All right. Well, no, but got to tell everybody where they can find you outside in the real world.
Well, I did. Jeez, you ruined it, Rod. I said to follow me.
Well, fine.
And then I wanted to leave you with that. Yeah, follow me on the X at Husker_Zeb.
Oh,
which I already said. But in case you missed it, like Rod apparently did. Yeah, follow me on the X at Husker_Zeb. And don't forget Kyle Larson's average finish is worse than Cody Ware's in 2025 on road courses.
I'm just here to just screw all over what you wanted to say last. Follow me on Twitter at RJ Villagomez. You can find me just kind of ruining everybody else's jokes out there as well. Yeah. All right. We'll be back with some Xfinity and trucks tomorrow. Let's get us the hell out of here. We love you all. We'll see you tomorrow. Until then, let's go racing and save us all. Let it ride.
Piece of us is broken. Eyes cry till that